Thank you. Thank you for the card.
But a long fit.
Do you want me to take
No, I
just in case?
already did. What's the next thing? Well, it's the best. Getting
Charter Academy to order and ask you all to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready to begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Apologize for the confusion up here. My last night, they wouldn't let me have anything. So the next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. If I have a motion to accept the agenda. So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. And then now we have a highlight from the competitive education. I'd like to invite the Board of Education to take reserve seating in the back to enjoy competitive choir under the direction of Sally Greenleaf. The official name, I believe, is the Melody Makers. And I heard Bill Riggers singing. The melody was beautiful.
First off, we're going to sing Sumer Mata. Words of the song mean how the beings for brethren to draw together. Though the text is in Hebrew, its meaning is universal, easily translated into any language, culture, or view.
Okay, we're gonna sing in Latin now, so sorry. But we are an international school, right? Okay. made this too. Thank you so very much for the privilege of being able to share some of our company music. We love it. We'd also like to recognize John as Joey for the accompaniment.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I would have left. Oh, I should have made it come again. I would have. Okay. The next item on our agenda is the election of officers, president and clerk. In the past, what we've done is we've taken a motion to accept whatever the Kalamazoo Joint Unified School District decides. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the next item is the selection of board meeting dates. There's a calendar. Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the next item is public comments. And the next item is our advisory committee report. Mr. Gregory.
Good evening. All right, so we met last week, kind of last one for the year, kind of going over everything, some of the holiday stuff, some of the just day-to-day stuff. The main thing that we focused on was our CFAs and the data protocol worksheets that we're asking teachers to complete once they do the CFAs to kind of show what data, what students are succeeding, meeting standards, not meeting standards, but more importantly, giving them action plans and reviewing analysis of what they can do for the next CFA. And one of the examples that I think it was 8th grade math used was students who normally were scoring well in math, their scores dropped on the CFAs, and we're trying to figure out why. And a lot of it was going back and reviewing those scratch papers when they're drafting points on a graph on a scratch paper, but then trying to put them into the computer. There's something lost there.
Could you please tell the audience what a CFA is, Mr. Gregory?
Common formulative assessment, basically a testing assessment of these state standards. Sorry. So yeah, so it's just those action plans and brainstorming that they kind of went over on those data worksheets of things that are working in one class and not working in another to kind of help them score. The other thing we looked at was some additional math supplemental learning tools that the district and CECA has for our students. Dreambox, which is an option for our primary year students, and what the effects of fifth grade classes, and then also IXL math for our middle school. And that's kind of more of an alternative to the Khan Academies because it's a lot more adaptive. The students tend to like it a little more. It's more stimulating than Khan itself. So we went over those to make sure that they're tools that we want to continue with next year. We started our academic support squad, which is a trained parent volunteer squad that are helping our tier 1 and some small groups in classroom with their teachers for students that need slight intervention. These are volunteer parents that came in, decided to help our reading, mainly reading in those situations. And our PTO was nice to give them mugs and shirts so that they look like they're part of the team. But it's an in-classroom thing to kind of help relieve the teachers to work on a higher tier students on interventions that needed. So it's going there. We discussed English learner support again, adapting some of the learning to ensure that our exposed students are getting that same rigor of testing. The other item we started was our Route 66 positive attendance. This is a contest that we're doing school-wide for both middle school and primary, recognizing students that, classrooms that reach 100% attendance for that day. There's a big map in the NYP, and their car gets to go across the United States on Route 66 and move across. The first one to get to the end wins. But the other nice part is that each day, once they get to move that map, they learn another waypoint, another waypoint on Route 66 that's also there. So the kids are excited to move to the next one to get to the biggest ball of twine and wonder why someone made that. We had our holiday performance last week for our primary years program, and likewise the Christmas parade that students got to walk in just last week as well. It's a lot of fun there. Last, we were just talking about the professional development into the inquiry part of our International Baccalaureate program, and a book study volunteer that some teachers are taking, just learning some inquiry-based learning, and we're actually working to get the author to come do a professional collaboration for all staff there as well. And then the setup of a professional reading library in the staff lounge that just is going well. Like I said, staff lounge is pretty tripped out, I guess. I'm not allowed in. So, but so now there's a professional reading library in there as well for them. So those are kind of the main things that we focus on.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? No. Great. The next item on our agenda is our consent calendar. Do you have any questions, comments, or changes? If not, I take a motion on the consent calendar.
I'll move approval.
Seconded by Member Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. We are down to additional administrative information.
Well, I'd like to share with the board that Mr. Stolz and I had the opportunity to visit CECA on Monday. And not only was Mr. Stolz and I had the pleasure of working with our new teachers, but we also were able to attend many other classrooms. And it was amazing to me what was going on. Now, we saw the Melody Makers practicing, and they were just as good then at practice as they were entertaining this evening. Also, the use of the holiday spirit with geometrical designs for snowflakes that were amazing for third grade, and other kinds of things were hard at work. There's a gingerbread display that the families are working with our students on that is really, I've tried to make a gingerbread for a house, and mine did not look like a house. It's really hard to do, but these are absolutely amazing. So if anyone gets the opportunity to go by and see, there's quite a lot of talent. One of the things that always stands out to me with CECA is the way the family works together to meet the IB goals. And so it was a pleasure, and we wish all of the CECA staff a very Merry Christmas.
So I just want to thank our families for bringing your students here tonight and letting them perform in front of the board. And just give a huge shout out to Ms. Green, who really does a great job, not just getting kids ready to sing, but really how that music connects to cultures and people. Really amazing.
Thank you. Member Coe?
Yes, I feel like Mr. Gregory deserves to visit the library.
Thank you, Member Miller.
The Melody Makers, they were great, and
Her name is Mrs. Greenlee. She came with them before they were using. So, and then, what else did I? Oh, I love trained parent squad. Have holidays, Merry Christmas, and enjoy your time off. And that's it. Yourself?
Thank you for bringing the kids. And Mr. Gregory, as usual, thank you for your report. Appreciate it.
I would say the same. The kids are great. It's always need to highlight it. It's wonderful. Yeah, and there must be a secret handshake somebody heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, the kids, I mentioned this earlier this afternoon, the kids are probably one of the highlights of being a board member, so it's always nice to have them, and I can't wait. I hope you guys get to come back to where they're coming every meeting, they're doing something, it'll be great, I love it. I want to thank the CECA family for letting me be such a huge part of it. I was lucky enough to be in the classroom for my grandson from kindergarten through, kind of kicked me out at about 6th grade. I still snuck in every once in a while, but through those years, I got to see so much good work at that school and was very proud of what we do at CECA, as well as all of our schools, but because I was immersed in that one, it was really a joy. So thank you. And I guess we are adjourned. Are we going back? Oh, no, we're going right. Yes, okay, great. Okay, we'll be back at 6:30 for our regular meeting. Thank you. Seeing that we like the Kalamazoo Joint Unified School District to order. And ask you to all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin.
States which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With the presence of all of our board members, and ask if anyone would like to make a motion to approve the agenda. Second, seconded by member Miller. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, we have nothing to report out from closed session. And so our next item is the certification of the election results. Superintendent.
At this time, President Ingram, we want to thank you for your service. We do have a recognition for you, but it would be this time that I would state that the certification is done for the support for Mr. Bob Miller to take your seat as Board of Education member. I'd like to ask Board Member Miller to come to the podium for his swearing in. Share a microphone so that the viewers at home. And I am going to ask you to raise your right hand. I'll have you repeat after me and have you say your name after I. So I
Bob,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of California
the Constitution of the State of California,
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear truth,
and I will bear truth,
faith,
faith,
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I
and that I
will well and faithfully
well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
about which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Not too much, I'll go short. I just want to thank my family and friends. I know Kathy and my grandkids and all my friends are here, and was a little overwhelmed by the support I got in the community. I promise to do my best legally, morally, ethically in all decisions that are made, and student focused at all times. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
This time, President Ingram will take a seat in the audience. Our clerk of the board, Sharon Bannister, will take over chairing the meeting, and board member Bob Miller will take his seat.
Chair the college. Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce the Utica High School Madrigal Singers. We're going to serenade us. We're going to move.
Thank you. It's nice to see you all. We're so happy to be able to be here. This is actually the first time we've been able to come back and sing to the school board since before the shutdown. This is a really special night for us. And this time last year, we were all still required to perform with masks on. And boy, that was a lot of fun, I'll tell you what. So we're excited to be a little bit more free in how we can bring our Christmas cheer and share with you guys tonight. So next up, the Ukrainian Carol. It's also known as Carol of the Bells. Christina, we're going to feature Christina's next song, God Rest You Merry Gentlemen.
We'll leave you with a bit of thank you, mother.
So now, item 5.02, we've got educational services. And this is about habit class. I'm very excited. I used to get out.
President, or just Clerk Bannister, we'd like to welcome Tana De Leon, who is here from Ukaipa High School, who will introduce her student. And we couldn't be more excited, and neither can we, about Avid and the college tours. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. So like she mentioned, my name is Tana De Leon. I'm one of the Avid teachers. I'm the Avid coordinator at Ukaipa High School. And this year we had an opportunity to take our senior class to visit colleges. So Rudra is here as our senior class representative. It's finals week. And so she was nice enough to come out and talk to you guys just a little bit about our Avid senior trip this year. So take it away.
I want to start by saying I'm very thankful to be able to speak on behalf of all my fellow Avid students for
being able to have this trip, it was really like one of a kind and something we're all very thankful for. So we visited a bunch of colleges throughout California. We went to Cal State University of Fresno, San Luis, the state capital, UC Davis, San Francisco State. We visited Fisherman's Wharf, Monterey Bay, Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and UC Santa Barbara. It was overall something, the senior avid class trip is something that all of us look forward to starting our freshman year. This is something that we're introduced to very early on. This is something that it's a major opportunity for us to be able to see what's out there, especially when some of us do not have the opportunity to outside of school, because there's many things that could stop us, like financial and parent support, being able to go out and visit these colleges. Throughout the trip, we learned the major importance of being able to have marketing and communication throughout. With the student tours that were led, we got to learn that there's so many students out there who have moved far away from their parents. They're in a completely new environment, and this is something that's completely new to them, which will be for us. And we wouldn't get to see what it's like without this trip. The students would tell us about majors they've explored and everything it took to get up to there. And we just got to learn what community is like outside of the city that we're known for. And it was just something that was completely new to us. And we related to the students, especially the freshmen, who told us, many of them who graduated from Yucaipa High, how different it was and how great they were to have this. There was a major social aspect, obviously, because it's a bunch of students who have been anxious and happy and excited and looking forward to this trip since our freshman years. And we all got together. We were all able to spend time for 3 days and be able to not only see the better side of each other, but to see just what it's like to be away from our parents for so long. But a major thing that I want to emphasize is the fact that this is such a major educational opportunity, especially for students who might not be fortunate to be able to visit these colleges out of because of their parents' situation, especially with COVID and having grandparents, younger siblings at home. Some parents cannot have the opportunity to be able to take their high school students to another state, especially for out of the city, especially for 3 days straight, because there's so many things at home going on, jobs and everything, financial struggles definitely that would prevent this. And we're just very thankful that we were able to get this trip for us.
Explain the AVID program a little bit, and also if there's anybody else in the audience that you want to give a shout out to help you with this.
Absolutely. We actually have a couple of our AVID senior teachers here. Mrs. Calvert and Mr. DeVries and Mrs. Keith is here. Anybody else? A couple people. We have quite a few teachers here that are involved in the AVID program. And Mrs. Calvert is how I got involved in the AVID program. But AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And it's for students that want to go to college. And so throughout the high school experience, starting in 9th grade, actually earlier, we have it starting now in 6th, 7th, 8th grade in middle school. They start to learn the ins and outs of college, but really just learning how to be a great student and then translate that into their experience in college or career, college and career. It's really for everybody. And so the opportunity for students to go out and see. You might have noticed on the list, we had big colleges, small colleges, Cal States, UCs. We do a variety for a reason. Maybe they're not going to go to any of these schools, but at least they can get an idea what it's like to be on the actual campus. And so these college tours are an important integral part of our program. So we're just very thankful to have been able to do that this year after the pandemic and to be able to have this experience with the students. So
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah, great. Now we'll move on to item 6, And we have recognition.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Clerk Bannister. It's my pleasure to invite Dana Carter to the podium. We are very fortunate to have Mr. Carter at the head of our ship for adult education. He is constantly expanding it and helping our community and abroad. We recently had a chance to visit, and we have students coming all the way from San Bernardino, Colton, Rialto, Moreno Valley. Now, that's very significant because all of those areas have their own adult school. And so tonight, you'll see the reason why. In a recent visit, Mr. Stoles and Dr. Anderson and I got to talk to some of our students, and they shared that they drove from all different places to come here because of what excellent teachers and counselors we have. And so we have Janet Gutierrez and Marcia Stewart with us tonight. Janet is a counselor, Marcia is a teacher. They both do many, many things and were recognized recently, and Mr. Carter is going to explain what the recognition is for.
Well, thank you so much. And just to reiterate what you're saying, it is the people at YCJUSD Adult School that make the difference. There are many adult schools, but we do draw from the region because of the personal touch that we provide. And both of these ladies are examples of that personal touch. I'd like to start off with Janet. And Janet, if you would just come on up and bring your award with you so you can show the board what you received. The California Council for Adult Education, CCAE, is a statewide organization that supports adult ed. And Janet received the Excellence Award for a certificated staff in a non-teaching position. And so that her award is for that. And Janet was one of our first counselors that was hired at YCJUSD Adult School. And since joining, her support for students and staff has been invaluable. She's my right hand. As our leadership knows, I've been at jury duty for several weeks, and Janet has been running the school. And I'm not worried because I know it's in very capable hands. She always has positivity, warmth. She puts students first, and she puts them at ease. Many adult schools are a little nervous when they first come in, and she helps do that warm welcome, and then she hands them off to Marcia, one of our other students. She helps oversee our testing. She also collaborates closely with myself to ensure that all of our programs are meeting the needs of our students. And she is a participant in consortia events, and WIOMA, which is one of our federal funding parts. She provides a lot of input, which helps us to continue to receive that grant. So, Janet, congratulations on your award from CCAE. I'd like to invite up Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart received the Excellence Award from CCAE for a teaching position. And and we joke around that Marcia brought her candy dish. Marcia has spent her entire career in adult ed, striving to improve the lives of all of our students. You may know this or may not, but Marcia has been with us since 1994. So she's been here with some longevity. She started off as a teaching assistant. She did that for 6 years. She provided some individual tutoring with a heavy focus on math and writing. Then she continued to hone her abilities and went out and earned her teaching certificate. And she has since then moved her way and then some in our high school diploma department. We do have, and you may or may not know, some transition that all schools do. And when I have a new teacher, Marcia onboards them. I can provide them what they need, but the best way to do it is introduce them to Marcia and let her go. She takes care of not just the students, but also our staff. She has that special connection with our students. And since I arrived in 2017, not one graduation ceremony has occurred where multiple graduates have said, I could not have done this without Marcia. So she likes to be quiet. She likes to be in the background. She even told me, I don't want to bring my award tonight to show it off. And I told her, you have to. So congratulations as well, Marcia.
We'd like to invite Mrs. here and the local department is I'd like to invite the board to come forward so we can take a picture.
Are we small enough for you? Didn't hear you say.
1, 2, 3. No, next week is. 1, 2, 3.
We're on to item 7, public comment. Oh, Pat, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, more recognitions. Patricia?
Thank you, Clerk Baxter. It is my pleasure at this point to spend a little bit of time recognizing our most veteran ever board member, 26 years, Patty Ingram. Patty was honored a little bit earlier, so I'll just briefly share a little bit of how she was honored. She was honored by our County Superintendent of Schools, Ted Alejandre, in recognition of her 26 years of exemplary service for the Yucaipa-Calamasa Joint Unified School District, for her unwavering dedication to staff, students, and family. She was honored by the City of Yucaipa with a proclamation signed by Mayor David Avila. The proclamation reads, whereas Patricia Ingram embarked on her public service journey as a school board member in the Yucaipa-Calamasa Joint Unified School District in March of 1996, serving numerous terms as board president, and whereas Patricia continued to serve the community in the capacity for 26 years, and whereas Patricia cooperatively led the Yucaipa-Calamasa Joint Unified School District through many expansions, including the additions of Chapman Heights Elementary School, Mesa View Middle School, and Competitive Edge Charter Academy, as well as aided in ushering in new educational programs such as the International Baccalaureate Program, Advanced Placement courses, and Link Learning Academies. And whereas her many years of service have been performed with dedication to the district's stated mission to make a difference in the life of each child. And now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of Yucaipa, and on behalf of all of our citizens, do hereby express our sincere appreciation and gratitude to Patricia Ingram for her distinguished, active, and dedicated service to the community of Yucaipa. Yet there's more. You are 26 years, you're doomed to read them all. This is a proclamation that was presented by Councilwoman Linda Molina, who's always been an advocate for Yucaipa-Calamasa Joint Unified. This is a proclamation signed by Mayor Bill Davis, whereas Patricia Ingram embarked on her public service journey as a school board member, whereas Patricia continued to serve the community in this capacity for 26 years, whereas Patricia cooperatively led the Yucaipa-Calamasa Joint Unified School District through many expansions, whereas many years of service have been performed to dedicate the district's mission, therefore be it resolved, the Mayor of Calamasa and the City Council hereby commend Patricia Ingram for her 26 years of service to the public as a member of the Yucaipa-Calamasa Joint Unified Board and extends their sincere and best wishes on the occasion of her retirement, which I think the extended version would say to pickleball, to traveling, to grandkids, to friends. There were also additional proclamations that were given. One was from the U.S. Senator Alex Padilla, and the other was from our own Senator Ochoa Bogue, who served as a board member, and her son, in recognition of over 26 years of outstanding public service and commitment to learning and academic achievement. Your steadfast leadership and dedication to the success and well-being of students in each community you have served deserves the highest commendation. You have our most sincere and my most sincere appreciation. So earlier we were able to have a little bit of a celebration, and Patty faithfully turned in her badge that I think you got in 1996. And with that, we had the honor to present her with some things, but on behalf of the district and the administration team, this says, making a difference in the life of each child, 1996 to 2022. We'll help you out with those. You also have several other bouquets of flowers that we'll help you out with. But I'd also like to invite Tom Heron, the Yucaipa-Calamasa Educators Association president, to come forward and say a few words.
So good evening, Board of Education, and tonight's session is especially for Patty Ingram on her way out. So one of the many quotes I have above the whiteboard of my classroom is this quote by a very well-respected American. Success isn't about how much money you make, it's about the difference you make in people's lives. I want to start by thanking you for your 26 years of service on the Yucaipa-Calamasa School Board. On behalf of the educators of the Yucaipa-Calamasa Educators Association, we express our sincere gratitude for your service. Serving as a trustee is one of the toughest volunteer roles out there. Multiple generations of our kids are thriving because you took your board's duties with dedication, grace, and compassion. I'm sure that not seeking a 7th term was clearly a difficult decision for you. But I respect your decision. You have been on the board nearly as long as I've worked in the district. I know that you will continue to share with our community the wisdom and virtue you are known for. All of us will certainly miss working with you as a board member, but we look forward to staying in touch with each other for years to come. On behalf of all certificated educators, I'd like to present you the small gift from YCEA. And I invite Catherine and some members that are from different sites to bring you cards. But on this plaque, hold it. The key words that kind of describe the school board members describe you: helpful, reliable, respectful, patient, kind, efficient, irreplaceable, appreciative, helpful, encouraging, outstanding, invaluable, dependable, diligent, decisive, knowledgeable, caring, fun, loyal, devoted, and dedicated. So thank you so much for leading our students to success. And now a final message for the whole board. Thank you for welcoming Bob Miller, another dedicated community member, to sharing his unique talents and experiences. And please continue to renew your commitment to work together with the professionals of YCA to make public schools in Yucaipa and Calamasa the best they can possibly be. Thank you. Catherine has cards from, I think, every side.
We try to get every teacher signed.
A lot of tracking. Yeah. Thank you so much.
The Yucaipa Educators Association has been so good and supportive to me throughout my tenure. I really appreciate it. And as I mentioned earlier, between my mom, who was a teacher here for over 30 years, my dad, who served on the board for over 10 years, and myself, our family has over 70 years of dedication to this district, which I don't think will end, but it's really been a pleasure.
And then lastly, Patty, we put together a little memorabilia book. I know your plaques and things like that are not your thing, but we know that pictures are. And so we have a picture book of many of Patty's memories in the district and kids holding up signs wishing you luck. And so when you miss us, which will be frequently, I hope, you can look at this and you can say, job well done, and you did make a difference in the life of each child. Congratulations.
First, I want to thank the board. All of you guys have been so great to work with. In all the past boards, there were several board members here earlier from the past, and I really appreciated that they came because every one of them had the foremost decision-making duty of making sure that things were good for our kids in this district. And I think every one of them took that to heart. And that will continue, I'm sure, with Bob as the new board member and all of you to help guide him in the district and all of our history and everything else. I appreciate it. I hope Stella still puts me on your calendar for lunch. And I was a little bit amiss earlier, and I have to do it now, even though it doesn't really apply because they aren't here. But my pickleball friends were here, and they're going to help me transition out of this by keeping me busy working on that board now. So I know I'm going to have fun doing that, and I really have had a great time. It was not at all what I expected when I started out thinking, as I said earlier, one meeting a month, big deal. Then we went through things like, no money for years. We went through the COVID pandemic where that was about the time I had scheduled to retire, and I just said I couldn't retire during that. There was too much going on, and I felt too much of an obligation to make sure that our district came through it. And I think we did well. And it was to everybody's success that we are where we are today. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
If I could, Patty, you know, I was not able to be at your reception earlier because of a personal matter, but I want to thank you. Had it not been for you, I would not have been able to ride in a 1946 Willys Jeep this weekend, which was very much appreciated. And I think more than anything, you've made me a better board member. Your point of view and certainly your historical perspective always made me think about things differently. And that's, I think, what people should do. And for all the kids that you've served over all these years, thank you so much. It does take a lot of dedication to have a position like this. And to do it for 26 years is really remarkable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I tried to write stuff down, and it didn't quite work. I'm channeling my relatives here. But in the 2 short years that I've been able to work with you, I have learned how to be an exceptional human and how to handle things with grace and compassion. When I first met you, I think we sat in that restaurant for about 3 hours, right?
Right.
That was you having me come in with the bar way up here, and I really appreciate that. And I hope to carry that with Tom as we go, as we continue here. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to ask the pertinent questions that you've been able to ask, but I will definitely practice and do my homework. Thank you for teaching me. And even though that whole doubles pickleball thing really is my jam, I hope that I can get out there and hang out with you on the court. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Said a few things earlier already, but like I said before, we're going to miss you. You're just so important to this district, and you've just done so much, and the knowledge that you had helped, and you're just such an amazing mentor, and I hope I can be half the board member that I'm going to miss you.
Thank you very much.
I just want to tell you, getting to know you over the last several months is great. You got a beautiful smile, a great way about you. Public service is a calling, and I know you live that and breathe it. And like we had talked earlier, a lot of these kids in the district feel like yours. And you did put that stamp on it. So you should always feel good. So when you're real tired after a pickleball game, just remember, I did some good things around here. And also the things you did with the city. on the EDAC board and some of the development issues because you're an engineer. And engineers are always sharp. And you can tell that you have your impact on the city also. And it's been my pleasure to get to know you. And I look forward to having lunch with you also.
Thank you. And I'm just going to add, Patty, I have always appreciated your point of view. We don't always agree, but it's so good for me to have you as a foil, and because it makes me understand what I think, and sometimes realize, oh yeah, Sharon, you can't do it that way. So thank you very much. Your attention to detail is very much appreciated, and I'm depending on Kathy to take that up.
All right, I'm just gonna pop in. So I've been here shortest time, mostly anyway. But in my time, it's been absolutely amazing to be able to work with you, get to know who you are as a person. You are such a symbol of what it means to be somebody who truly cares about their community and the people around them. Being a student in this district, I can especially vouch for the fact that you have truly made a difference in the lives of students. And I just congratulate you on all your 26 years of service, and I hope you have an amazing retirement.
Thank you, Noah.
As we close, I just want to thank you, Patty. You are the original interview panel that I was lucky enough to interview in front of. And as Patty shared the things that needed to be done in the district, it was from her heart and the other board members' hearts as well. But I just want to thank you for the opportunity to come and serve here. It is an amazing place full of amazing teachers, amazing employees, fantastic kids, and a community that really cares. And so you are not going to be forgotten. And of course, there's going to be many things that you're going to be able to do. And I'm sure leading pickleball will be one of them. But congratulations, and thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
End of an era. Yeah. The next order of business is public comment. Over here. We're going to start with Paul Kane. Okay, this is Paul Kane.
Hi, good evening, members of the board, superintendent Beeks, members of the cabinet. I'll keep this brief this evening. I had originally intended to speak at the November meeting, but I didn't realize I had to fill something out first, so my mistake. I'm just here tonight to express my gratitude on behalf of myself as well as my colleagues that also teach music throughout the district. Firstly, thank you to Mr. Stelling. I heard he had some very complimentary remarks about my program at the October meeting. I tried to listen to the VOD, but there was no volume until the last 10 minutes, so that's unfortunate. But I take Ms. Pearson's word for that. I can't express how grateful that myself and the other music directors are for all of the support that we've received from you throughout the course of the years. I know that a large portion of LCAP funds have been allocated to us, which has been great. We've been able to purchase instruments for the students, which was kind of a luxury to have spares up until the pandemic. And since we've come back, it's been an absolute necessity. Speaking from my own site, pre-pandemic, we had roughly 85% of students and families able to purchase or rent their own instruments. Now I'm looking at about 90% of my students are borrowing from the schools, and I couldn't have a program the size and quality that I do without your support, your annual support. So we really appreciate that. We've also noticed just a huge amount of support in attendance at our performances. There's been not only a board member, but also a cabinet member at every single performance that we've had this semester so far, even though it's an incredibly busy time of year. We're just very grateful for all your support for the students and for music in this district. You spoil us. And I also need to give a shout out to my current principal, Kathy Pearson, who's just been my biggest supporter, allowing me to take our kids to tour the elementary schools. We can expose these students to what music can be at the secondary level. We did that on Friday and had a great reception from our feeders. And again, all of this is possible just because of your constant support. So thank you.
The next speaker is Kathy Crane.
Board, cabinet, audience. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Mrs. Bannister and Mr. Miller on your successful campaign. I know you'll do a great job. I'm here to talk briefly about YCJUSD Educational Enrichment Foundation. We're still out there. We're still raising money. If you need any last minute tax deductible, if you want to donate for your taxes, we'll take it. We have, you can check us out on our website. Just Google us, YCJUSD Calimesa Educational Enrichment Foundation. It's a mouthful, but it's who we are. And I want to let everybody know that our applications for our grants will be coming out in January this year for our teachers. Last year we had a little communication problem and not everybody, timing is tough because everybody's busy all year long. So we're going to make a major effort to get that out to teachers individually as well as sites and through principals to let people know that we are available to support them, supplanting what the school and the district can provide. And we're going to encourage people this year to, if they have some program they want to implement, something they want to buy, ask the principal first, because they may do that for you. If there are still teachers here, I hope you're listening. Ask them. And if they say no, then come to us and fill out the application. We'll we'll tell you how to do that, who to submit it. We'll evaluate those and hopefully meet some needs this year. And you'll be hearing from me continually because we do have some money. We're funded thoroughly through donations. We have a board, nobody's paid, it's all volunteer. Most of us are happily retired teachers. There is a life after the classroom. But still, we're doing teacher stuff. So I want to also congratulate all of you that have made it almost to the end of the semester. Good job. And keep us in the back of your mind and fill out that document for us. Okay? All the public schools, please get involved. All right? Any questions or? Great. Thanks.
Okay. All right, now we're on to item 8, organizational meeting. And the first thing we do is get me out of this chair. Yes, election of officers. And if I'm going to make a nomination. Is that cool for me to do it with the seat? Yes, okay. I'm going to nominate Mike Snell as president of the school board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Here we are.
Congratulations. Thank you. Okay.
No, you can go there and I'll just trade the time. We'll keep it to a minimum. So much exercise during this meeting.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, it was, it said your name on it, actually.
Oh.
First of all, I'd like to thank the board for supporting me as president. I really do appreciate it. Last time I was up here was during COVID, and I'm hoping that this experience is a little better. So thank you for your confidence in me. I really do appreciate it. All right, we're moving on to item 8.02, the election of the clerk for the school board. And I would take a nomination.
I'd like to nominate Kathy Coe.
We have a nomination for Kathy Coe. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second by board member Bannister. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried, 5-0, 6-0, counting no one. Congratulations, Kathy. Next, moving on to 803, we're looking for an election of a board representative to the County Committee on School District Organization. Do we know what kind of a time commitment this is, Ms. Banks?
I heard this earlier.
Oh, do you? Would you like to continue? Okay. I would like to nominate board member Coe as the representative of the County Committee on School District Organization.
Second.
I have a second by board member Debbie Miller. I've got to get used to this. We'll have to use first names still to delineate between the two Millers.
You can't go by the voice.
So I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion carries. Now we're looking at election of the board representative for the Colton-Redlands-Yucaipa Regional Occupational Program. Board member Bannister was elected to a 2-year term, and so we will be relooking at that. And if I could, I would like to nominate board member Bannister to continue on the Colton-Redlands-Yucaipa ROP board.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Have a second by board member Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The motion carries. Congratulations, Sharon.
Thank you.
I'll see you Friday morning.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah. Our next item is election of a board representative to the Economic Development Advisory Committee. I believe this is the one that's being vacated by board member Ingram, who has served on this committee. Do I have a nomination for this committee?
Is it kosher to nominate myself?
I'll
would,
nominate you.
and I will second. So we have a nomination and a second for board member Coe. All those in favor say aye. Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Congratulations. Oh, thank you. We also have an expiring term for an alternate on the Colton-Redlands-Yucaipa ROP board, and I would like to nominate board member Debbie Miller to continue in that capacity.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Yeah. I just want to check in with a recording secretary to make sure she's got, first of all the Millers straight, and second of all you have it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we are the Millers.
Quickly.
Okay, now we're at 8.07. This is approval of the 2023 regular board meeting dates. And I would like to mention to the community that's here right now that we're actually restructuring. Well, we're proposing to restructure our board meetings to better align with some of the things that we need to do throughout the year. And our board meetings will be, I believe, on the being proposed to be on the 3rd Tuesday instead of the 4th Tuesday. Is that correct?
And if it's not on the 3rd Tuesday, it's for a reason. Normally it's budget or LCAP where we have to do public hearings, or we want to make sure that it's close, that they're not too close. So we say the 3rd Tuesday, but if you look, they're not all
Right.
Tuesday. We tried.
And that was the case with the other
Yes.
calendar as well.
Excuse me, I got a question. So do we have, is there a place on our website where this is easily accessible?
The board calendar will be on the board page, but we'll also, I think that there's been some requests, board member Bannister, to put that on the front page as well.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, we can, yes, Ms. Bradley will do that.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the regular board meeting schedule as presented?
I'd like to make a motion to approve that.
I have a motion by Board Member Bob Miller. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Board Member Debbie Miller. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. And now we're on to Noah's report. Noah, welcome.
Hello. Okay, so since last board meeting, we had the long-awaited Thanksgiving break that has occurred. And then from there, we have a couple sport changes. We have basketball starting up, as well as soccer, wrestling, girls water, and girls water polo. And notably, multiple of our Thunderbird football players were selected as part of the CDL All-League first team. And then just other general things within the school, we had an improv game versus Riverside Poly. Our 3 academies, law, public safety, engineering, and health and biomedical sciences, all went to middle schools around the district to present what their academies have to offer and to recruit students as they go into high school to possibly choose one of the academies that might interest them in their future career goals. And multiple of our clubs and organizations in Yucaipa High School, such as Yucaipa Band, Best Buddies, Interact Club, and many more, participated in the Yucaipa Christmas Parade. And then lastly, obviously we all know it's the build up to finals week and the long-awaited winter break.
All right, thank you very much. Any comments or questions for Noah?
Question, what's an improv?
Okay, so from my understanding and my single attendee of one game, they basically, it's a group of around 5 to 6 students from each school. So in our case, we have 5 to 6 students. The Riverside Poly also have 5 to 6 students. And then they have a series of games where they're given certain things to act out or play, and they have to all make it up on the spot. Yeah. So they'll have to, for example, they'll be given a little story thing, do a Christmas story or something like that, and they have to make it up on the spot. And it gets really funny. They have a whole bunch of different twists to it. It's entertaining.
I'd love to go to that.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Noah. Enjoy your winter break. Now we're moving on to the discussion. I'm sorry, we're on the Colton Residence Yucaipa Regional Occupation Report. And Ms. Bannister, is there anything you'd like to share?
Yes, so earlier this week, they had there was a presentation of the Counselors Roadshow, where basically CRIROP, the ROP program, shows off all the programs that we have at Yucaipa High School. So Member Snellings and I attended, and all the counselors were there. We went from classroom to classroom to see the different programs. It's amazing the amount of resources that have been invested in our students. And these are classes that give them an opportunity to explore their future careers. In some cases, they can complete the requirements, and when they're out of high school, they can begin. In other cases, there might be some more work that they need to do, or it points them into a direction that they want to pursue in college. It was amazing. We were in the auto shop, we were in the wood shop, they're building dog houses for yaps. The science, I can't remember.
Student store.
The student store at Yucaipa High School. If you have the opportunity, that's gorgeous. Really, really well run and very professional in how they do it. There was law enforcement, the mannequins that they have to practice the medical stuff on, amazing. So really a stellar program run by CRIROP with the cooperation of Yucaipa High School. Wonderful.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we're moving on to our discussion / action session. The first item of business is 11.01. It's the second review of revised board law 9322 agenda meeting materials. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I have a motion by board member Do I have a second?
Second.
Debbie Miller, any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye and motion carries. 11.02, first interim financial report. Ms. Binks.
Thank you so much. There are 2 vacant chairs up here. Unfortunately, Dr. Freeman and Dr. Anderson have been out ill. But we are very fortunate to have Amber Tavis with us this evening. She's our physical coordinator. And I've been teasing her all week because in texting Dr. Green, and I said, you know, I can present the first interim. And he said, no, let's have Amber do it. So the confidence is all behind Amber, and we appreciate her pinch hitting.
Dr. Reeman's a wise man. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. All the things tonight. I love it. Okay, so good evening, President Snellings, members of the board, and Mrs. Binks. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present the first interim financial report. As you know, the first interim report looks at our financial activity through October 31st, 2022, and its effect on the 22-23 budget. As we go through the slide, or the presentation, please feel free to stop me with any questions. And if I do not have the immediate answer, I will do the research and get the information to you as soon as possible. This is a graph of the budget process. The red circles and ovals are action the Board of Education takes throughout the school year. The blue rectangles are state of California actions throughout the school year that impact our budget. We start on the top left with the adoption of the YCJUSD 22-23 budget in June. The state finalizes their budget after we are required to adopt our budget. This typically forces us to bring a revised budget to the YCJUSD board in July. We are now at the first interim financial report, which describes our financial activity through October 31st. We will bring the budget back to the board in March of 2023 after the governor releases his budget plan for 23-24 next month. As you can see, there is really no start or end to this budget cycle. It's just a constant cycle, and we're at this point now. As a public school entity, we are required to plan in 3-year cycles. The current year, 22-23, and the next 2 fiscal years, 23-24 and 24-25. So every year in December and March, we bring an interim financial report to the Board of Education. We take a look at the current year and the following 2 years and make a determination. The 3 determinations the budget can have are positive, qualified, or negative. Positive certification means that we meet our financial obligations for the current and 2 subsequent years. A qualified certification means we may not meet financial obligations for the current or 2 subsequent fiscal years. And a negative certification means we will be unable to meet financial obligations for the remainder of the current year or for the subsequent fiscal years. We are happy to report that we have a positive budget, meaning we can meet our financial obligations for the current and 2 subsequent fiscal years. I wanted to share that after the board approves the first interim tonight, all the budget documents are sent to the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools for final approval. So when developing a 3-year budget, there are many areas to focus on. In the current year, we can be very precise in our plannings as we know how many students we have, we know the revenue we will receive, and we can closely estimate our expenses. For 23-24 and 24-25, we have to rely on budget assumptions from the state as well as the ones we develop locally. Major budget assumptions for consideration are the projected cost of living adjustment, also known as the COLA, and student enrollment. More specifically, student average daily attendance, which is also known as ADA. So you'll hear me say that a lot, that acronym. As we only receive the majority of our state revenue when students are present in class. Currently, the COLA is projected at 5.38% for 23-24 and 4.02% for 24-25. This is likely to change when the governor releases his 23-24 budget proposal next month. As you can see, not only are we dropping in enrollment as a district, but our ADA percentage has declined from an average of 95% of our students coming to school daily to estimated between 91 and 92%. This matches statewide averages post-pandemic, so we're not alone in this declining enrollment. This slide shows our enrollment and average daily attendance, or ADA, trends for the next several years. These are the assumptions we used in the first interim report. ADA is now based on a 3-year average, but as you can see, even with the cushion of a 3-year average, our ADA goes from 7,686 to 7,362, which is a loss of 324 ADA in the next 3 years. We take all of this information and make a multi-year projection.
It is this multi-year projection that determines if we have a positive, qualified, or negative first interim financial report. This chart is based on the budget assumptions that were in the previous slides. As you can see, revenues and expenditures are increasing over the next 3 years. Our beginning fund and ending fund balances are positive. We next break apart the ending fund balance each year. For example, as of October 31st, 2022, our ending fund balance for 22-23 was estimated to be about $11.2 million. $113,000 of this is considered non-spendable. This is warehouse supplies and other items we always need to have on site. $3.3 million is board committed. I will remind everyone what those board commitments are on the next slide. $2.9 million is for ADA contingency. This is the savings account we have to offset the loss of our ADA that we previously mentioned. Finally, we have a set 3% reserve for economic uncertainty. The state requires our district, a district our size, to identify at least a 3% reserve. This chart shows that we are positively certified as we are able to meet our financial obligations for 3 years and also maintain a 3% reserve for economic uncertainty. So as I mentioned earlier, the board committed general fund dollars in June of 2022. As you continue to focus on safety, the board committed an additional $1.5 million to help support safety measures in our schools, such as cameras, fencing, equipment, and supplies. Dr. Anderson and her team are working towards a social studies adoption, so the $1 million set aside for textbooks will help in this effort. Finally, the board committed dollars to support the modernization and infrastructure of our classrooms. The modernization is mostly going to be used for our modular classrooms to kind of update them. We found a company that will repair for a fraction of the price of buying new modular classrooms. Separate from our positive certification reporting requirement, we want to give the board an update on our categorical COVID-19 learning loss and instructional program funds. On this slide, we have listed the allocation, remaining balance, and spending deadline. Most of these funds are tied to current or forthcoming plans. New this year were the Arts, Music, and Instructional Materials Block Grant and the Learning Recovery Block Grant. More information on these grants will be coming at future board meetings. I want to take a moment and go over the differences between the two expanded learning opportunities grants. Top one is a set aside to be utilized specifically for paraprofessionals. This portion of the grant also has a deadline of September 2023, while the other portion below was to be utilized for extending instructional time and has a separate spending deadline of September 2024. This slide shows a few of our future budget considerations. As mentioned previously, the governor will release his 23-24 budget proposal in January. We will make any necessary COLA and ADA adjustments to our budget and bring the second interim financial report to you in March of 2023. As we are all experiencing in all of our own households, we are also seeing significant increases in costs for goods and services and district expenses as well. Overall, I am pleased to report that YCJUSD is positively certified, and our recommendation is for the board to approve the first interim financial report. I sincerely thank you for your time today, and I am happy to answer any questions you may have.
Do we have any questions from either of the board members? No? Amber, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very well done. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So after hearing that, do I have a motion to approve the positive certification of the first interim financial report as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion by board member Coate and a second by board member Bannister. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now we're moving on to 11.03, and this is a resolution that's required to accept a grant from the California Schools Healthy Air, Plumbing, and Efficiency Ventilation Program. That's not a government program, but let's hear it along. So, and I think that what we need to do is make a recommendation to approve the resolution if we want to access these funds. Do I have a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
A motion by Board Member Debbie Miller. Do I have a second?
Second.
Get a second by Board Member Bob Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. The next item is a Inspirit Group stop it agreement. I believe this is something that's supposed to be in place of WeTip. Any other information in this thing?
I would just share that Cabinet and Dr. Bremen and I have been doing some research on different programs that we can have for reporting mechanisms, not only for our students, but for staff and community to report a number of different things. And we've used WeTip, and it's pretty antiquated at this point. We were looking for something more modern that might attract more students to use it, and something that would be easy to use. So after talking to our neighbors to the east and to the west, and then talking to other districts across the county, we looked at two different programs, and Stop It is a program that they use in Beaumont Unified, and we were looking at the success that they have had with usage. And then we asked the company to do a presentation, and I will share with you that one of the features that we loved about this, we could customize it to UPIPA, so we can make the questions fit for our grade spans and then for our community. It also provides an opportunity for 24-hour monitoring, so that while two district office staff will be 24-hour available, that would be Dr. Anderson and myself. If for any reason they couldn't reach us, they then will take anything that's an emergency, and they would put whoever has made a report, maybe connect them with a suicide hotline, connect them with a mental health professional, connect them with law enforcement or any other need they might have, or dispatch 911 in the case of an emergency. So it's an all-encompassing program. We would be, Mr. Bradley would be launching a campaign so that we would be able to push this out not only to the community, but at every school site with a QR code, and share it with our parents so that we can get information when needed. So it seems to be a comprehensive program.
Okay. Do I have a motion for approval as presented? Have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Just clarification, this is not only available to the people who are in the district, but it's also available to anyone in the community.
Correct. We'll be putting it in the newspaper, on UKIPA bulletin, because we want information in the community about our schools and anything that they think needs to be reported. And we're also working with law enforcement. If there's something that would need to go there, we'll partner with them.
Okay, I have a motion by Board Member Bannister and a second by Board Member Coate. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Now we're going on to 11.05, and this is educational services, an agreement with the Thought Exchange. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I have a motion by Board Member Debbie Miller. Do I have a second?
I have a question.
Well, we can talk after you second.
Okay, I'm seconding.
Okay, I have a second by Board Member Bannister. Questions for Ms. Binks?
Okay, so this is another way of getting community input, or this is
This is actually for everyone also. It's for opportunities to have communication with all employees, communication with parents, and communications with students. So one of the things that we've been talking about is promoting more student voice, especially at our secondary levels, but not think about elementary. So this tool gives opportunity for students, parents, community, staff to anonymously answer to some kind of prompt. So if there's something that goes out that says, what do you think your main concern is for safety? Then as those the thoughts get put in it, there's an algorithm to prioritize, and it will help us to hear voices. It's always, listening is always very, very important, but reaching everyone is also very important. So this is just an opportunity. We did have it in the district a few years ago, maybe about 5 years ago. I think the implementation could have been a little bit different. And so we've done our homework and studied a little bit more about how to be successful, but it would be for everyone.
Thank you.
It really will be helpful at LCAP as well, local control.
That's what I was going to ask. So
Yes.
we include this data in our LCAP.
Yes.
Okay, Board Member Bob Miller.
Yeah, I just had a question, Kelly. I mean, I think the contract's $29K. And how much do you really think this is going to get used? I mean, what's the end goal, having it check out? Maybe from other districts or something?
Well, it depends on how you use it. There have been districts that have said they weren't successful, and I asked them why, and they said it's really about pushing it out with the right users. And so, for instance, I've been working with Mr. Jervis at the high school, and he's been trying to figure out a comprehensive way to get student input. And so giving Mr. Jervis the opportunity to push this out via text to students is probably a really appropriate way. So it varies on the way it's implemented. And so that's why we feel much more comfortable this time, because talking to the districts who have been successful, they didn't control it all at the district office. They've allowed the users at the schools to get information as well.
For example, run of the mill, what are some issues they found through the algorithm? Like if it was safety, what did they discover?
So one of the things that they've discovered that they were surprised by, I had 2 districts share with me that while they knew that there was a mental health crisis after COVID, they shared that more students felt like that they were unable to participate in their classrooms, something that they loved, because they were having so many issues since the pandemic. So that's critical information. Now, I'm looking at our student board member, and I think that he understands, as we've talked about student voice in his interview for the student board position and how important that is, but it's also critical with our employees as well. It gives opportunity for input into even simple things like changes in schedules or curriculum adoptions. We could use it as follow-up. I received follow-up the other day from a teacher about our science training. And we were able to have had that information sooner that it could have affected the next science training. So it's just a comprehensive way, and it's not just a survey. Yes, I liked it. No, I didn't. It actually gives you the opportunity to understand the why. Mm-hmm.
I think if we approve it, I'd like to maybe get something in the Friday report at some point, showing how beneficial it's been.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think I have a motion by Board Member Debbie Miller and a second by Board Member Bannister. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. We'll go on now to 11.06. This is a second review about student sun safety. Do I have a motion for approval?
I moved it.
You got a motion by Board Member Bob Miller. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Board Member Debbie Miller. Any questions or comments? Okay, you gotta wear your sunscreen. Trust me, I'm a redhead, I know. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. We're on 11.07, a substitute counselor pay. The district is making a recommendation to increase our sub-counselor pay to be comparable with other local districts. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move approval. Second.
I have a motion by Board Member Bannister and a second by Board Member Coate. Any questions for the superintendent? Board Member Miller.
That gets us to at least the median now, right?
Correct, Member Miller. Bob Miller. It's in the middle.
Based on the survey.
Yes.
Correct, based on other local districts, that puts us in the mid-range.
And again, just for a reminder, this isn't for the day-to-day. This is those positions that we're covering for maternity leave and things like that.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. The next item is from Human Resources as well, and this is an early notification bonus to try and promote early retirements so that we might be able to get a heads up on other districts in terms of hiring people sooner, correct? Do I have a motion for approval?
Approval.
I have a motion by Board Member Coate. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Debbie Miller. Any questions for the superintendent?
I just have a comment. We've been using this for the last, how many years?
At least the last 6 years. We did not do it last year, however, COVID kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's common, it's been used several years.
Okay, but it allows us to have first shot at the pool of candidates for filling our openings.
Right, it allows us to start looking to fill openings for the 23-24 year in February or March rather than waiting later into the spring.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Now we're going on to 11.09. This is a internship permit for a teacher, allowing this teacher to teach under provision of the law. Do I have a motion to approve? I have a motion by Board Member Debbie Miller. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Coe. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Motion carries. Now we're moving on to the consent calendar action session. And I do know that we have a board member, Bob Miller, was not here at the November 15th meeting. And as has been practiced, you wouldn't vote on the November 15th minutes since you weren't part of that. So I'd like to ask the board if we could just move that out separately off the consent calendar and ask for an approval of the consent calendar with the exception of 12.02. Okay, I got a motion by Board Member Bob Miller and a second by, is that Board Member Coe?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Motion carries. Item 12.02, approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of the minutes for November 15, 2022. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I have a motion by Board Member Debbie Miller. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Coe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any I'll vote aye. Any abstentions?
Abstention.
Okay, so the motion carries 3-0 with 2 abstentions. Did that work right? Okay, I didn't mess that up. Never know. All right, now we're moving on to the information proposal session, 13.01. This is a dual enrollment partnership agreement with San Bernardino Community College in Crafton Hills. And I believe that we need to have this placed in the information session before we can move it on for board approval. Is that correct, Superintendent Binks?
That is correct. There'll be 2 hearings, which is required by law for the
Okay.
community college district.
Okay. So we don't need any action tonight. It's just informational and will come back to us at the next meeting, presumably. Item 13.02 is the Williams Report of 2021-2022. Any questions or comments? Okay, I would like to point out that I looked at that and many districts had hundreds and hundreds of violations, and there were zeros all the way across ours, if I remember correctly. 13.03 is to receive a revised administrative regulation related to home and hospital instruction. Any questions? Okay. 13.04, another first review for board policy 6173.1, education for foster youth. Any questions or comments? And these will be coming back for approval soon. 13.05 is board policy 6173.2, education of children of military families. Comments or concerns? Okay. And then 13.06 is receive a proposed administrative regulation related to education for juvenile court school students. And 13.07 is administrative regulation related to family care and medical leave. And then finally, we have a new revised board policy for dismissal, suspension, and disciplinary action. No comments on any of those? Okay. Superintendent Beats, any additional administrative information?
I appreciate the board's efforts in taking the board policies. I have shared in a Friday letter, but wanted to just connect with you about this. There is always updates. It's a continual process with board policy. And so every quarter we get updates. But what our team is doing, and I appreciate Stella Jimenez and her leadership with the other assistants in the departments, is we are re-examining every board policy we have and every board policy that we may not have to ensure that all of our policies reflect our needs. I had about 5 or 6 on this time, and I wanted to make sure that I don't overwhelm you with the reading. I was able to meet with a couple board members to go over these, and the pace seems to be okay for everyone so far, I believe. What we will do is the ones that have minor changes, or there may be a lot of changes, but they're not substantive changes. Maybe they just changed the language. We'll try to match those that are much easier to read than maybe the ones that have more comprehensive change to them, where we might have AR changes along administrative regulation changes also. So if at any time the pace becomes too much, please let me know. I'll be working with our board president to make sure that we keep it going so that we get it done, because there's not a cheat sheet anywhere for these in any district that I know of, but we really do need to have a consistent way of doing this so that when new policies come in, we log whether or not if the board takes it or not, just so that whoever is working on these in 10 years will be organized. So I want to make sure that that the board knew about that, and then also appreciate Amber pinch hitting for Dr. Freeman, who I know will be very proud of you. Very, very proud of you.
Dr. Who?
Yeah. If I may, it's been a great time. I know you'll probably mention all of the visits to the schools with the music programs. They've just been phenomenal, and we have many of our teachers still here, and our principals are here, and it's just been the holiday spirit has been abundant, and that comes from the energy that you put into it, and I so appreciate it, whether it's being invited to read and get to dress up in Chris's class like a reindeer and be disruptive and have fun, or if it's just seeing all the different projects. And then also want to thank Principal Kathy Miller specifically for a vision of seeing the UPIPA Christmas parade said better together, and she said, we are better together, let's go. And we got everybody together. So I'm on the Rotary Club. We put on the parade, and at the debrief this morning, they said, what did you have, like 7,000 kids there? It felt like so many kids, and it was just a great event. Thank you, Mrs. Miller. I appreciate your coordination of that and everybody's participation. It was really fun.
Okay. And back to the board policies, we utilize the Gamut program where we get the recommendations from the state.
We do.
Want to make sure that.
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Go on to board member comments. Let's start with board member Bannister.
Okay. Welcome, Bob Miller.
Thank you.
Nice to be sitting next to you up here. I also want to thank Mr. Kane for his words. The music department just makes us proud. You guys did such a wonderful job. The arts are very important. I happen to know someone who was one of the madrigals and is making her living as in music. My son participated in the art program and theater program, and to my amazement is making his living as an artist. I don't know how that happens, but he explains it to me every time I see him. I also want to applaud the district for increasing the ways of us communicating with the community through the Stop It program and the thought exchange. I really look forward to hearing how that is progressing. And the other thing is, I know we're doing more with community cabinets on different sites, and I look forward to hearing about that in our Friday letters. Yeah, thank you. And to Merry Christmas to everybody.
Thank you, board member Bannister. Okay. Board member Coe.
Lots of great things this evening. Wonderful to see our magicals up there. A couple former students on that. That was nice to see. Congratulations to Janet and Martha on their awards for being amazing humans and wonderful teachers for our adult school. I too love to see the Stop It and the, I forget the other one's the TH word, but I think that it's important to take the pulse of our community on a regular basis. And I think it's integral in our ability to mitigate not learning loss, but our human loss. Like our ability to be together and figure people out and help each other out when we need it as a community, because we are a very good community, and I think that's going to be extremely helpful throughout the city. And I missed the parade because I was repping, I was doing the scrimmages for the repping for YYD, so I'm volunteering for the repping there. So I apologize for missing that. I heard it was pretty fun. I too would have liked to be in G.
Board member Debbie Miller.
Congratulations, Bob and Sharon, for being on the board newly and returning. Happy to have you still here. Also, thank you again, Noah. Always you're very eloquent, and like what you had to say about Patty. It's beautiful, and your report is always spot on. I missed performances this week and got a lot going on in my life, and I really am bummed I missed it. Hopefully in the spring when there's more, I'll be able to attend. So I'm sure the performances were amazing. And the madrigals, wow, that was just beautiful. Just, that's my word always, wow, wow, wow. It's just great. And AVID, I love that program. I wish all students could be in AVID. I just love it. And it's nice to see that they get to go to the colleges for the tours. And you know what, I wanted to ask, but I didn't get a chance. Do you know how many students went to that? The AVID, the seniors?
I want to say it was 13 or 16.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
Okay, and I have two numbers in my head, I apologize, but
under 20.
Somebody said 13 and somebody said 16.
And that looks like about it. And Merry Christmas to everybody.
Bob?
Thank you. I'll try to keep it brief, but I can remember years ago as a staff member when they would get to city council comments, I was like checking my watch all the time. How long are they going to talk? So I'll keep it brief. But the reason is when you get on this side of the dais, you want to tell people what you think and what you appreciate, and what you love about the things we do. So I just want to say I'm proud to be up here. I'm proud to be working with this team. I can already tell there's a great feel of the culture here is positive. When I walked in the door, I did have somebody ask me who I was and didn't let me get through the little gate there, but eventually I got in. And but that's what you're supposed to do. And I just could feel the culture from meeting with the superintendent, meeting with the staff, meeting with people. They're friendly. HR, everybody has been very helpful. And that's the way to onboard people that aren't familiar with your organization. But culture is the key to everything. And I can feel it's a good culture. So I look forward to going to all the schools, and I look forward to going to many events. I do want to take a little time to thank my middle son, Ryan Miller, who's in the audience, who works for the city of Yucaipa, and you will see him on EDAC committee because he works economic development. And, you know, when you run a campaign, and I'm not talking about my campaign too much, Callie, you know, I had to have my family help me, and he was my website designer and #1 person I could bounce things off, and my good friend Greg Franklin, who's in the audience, my treasurer, and they just kept me grounded and humble as I talk to people. So I want to thank Greg and Ryan for getting me off to a good start, setting everything up. I never thought I'd be running for office, but I'm so glad I did. Because in public services, we were told, Patty, it's a calling. If you love to serve, you want to help others, you want to move people forward so they can have great, successful careers, then you got to get involved and not sit on the sidelines. You got to get in the game. So I'm proud to do it. I look forward to working with everybody, and that's the longest I'll go for my comments, I promise.
I'm proud of Kathy for not checking her watch when you're talking. Noah?
Okay, busy evening, but yeah, I'll just try to keep it brief. All right, thank you, Justin, for everybody coming in. It was great hearing from the music department, the adult schools, seeing the madrigals. Congratulations on everybody, their change of roles, new roles. Congratulations to Bob and his introduction to the board. And notably, hope Patty has a great retirement, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Very good. I'd like to publicly recognize and thank Mr. Pressler at Yucaipa High School, Mr. Young, the choir director who is here tonight, Mr. Kane from Mesa View Middle School, and Mr. Stockman from Parkview Middle School for the programs they presented to us this year. And Callie and I were able to go to all 3 of those. And the thing that struck me is the fact that each of those choir directors and band directors were at each other's performance every single night in support of their colleagues. And that's not always the case, trust me. So I was very appreciative of that. Sharon, I love working with you on the board, and I was so happy to see that you won the election. And Chief and I go back a ways. When I was the assistant superintendent in Colton, Bob was the chief of police in Colton, and we had a chance to work on programs together. I think I was nice to you. You never know what's going to happen. You know, things kind of come full circle, and here I am sitting next to the guy again. So welcome to the board. You're going to be a great addition, and I really do appreciate it. And I've always enjoyed working with you. I'm looking forward to doing it again. The one other thing I want to mention is I'm hoping that at the beginning of the year, with the board's approval, that we might be able to get together, and in Colton we did something called a board consensus workshop, and it's really a way to get the input from each board member separately and then come together collectively with a vision for the district. And I think it's probably a good time to do that. During COVID, I mean, things kind of came to a screeching halt a little bit, and we were reacting instead of being proactive. And so with your, I guess, consensus right now, I'd like to work with Callie and maybe put something together where we can have a day and have somebody facilitate a process for us that can be very powerful. I've done it with the board. It can be very, very powerful. And I'm hoping that we can do that. So, okay, thank you. Thank you for that. So I'll talk with Callie more about that. And we're going to adjourn into closed session, and y'all can go home.